welcome to the 198th episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. I am really excited to be here. Who am I? My name is Tim Robertson with Gears and Fire. With me, as always,
it's me, Nap, from Nap's Naughty Works LLC.
And I'm Josh from North Country Woodworking. Welcome to our episode. Strap in because you're ready for... Excuse me. Don't you realize I'm doing something?
Okay, I've been here for a while. Hey, Tim,
don't you hear the radio voice?
Hello, children. Oh, wait, that's not the right one.
Wrong podcast, I think.
Whoa. Zing.
It's just the three of us. Just the three of us.
Hey,
we could do it if... Man, you going to run over me all night? I mean, just want to say. Words are hard.
Yeah. No, honestly, I didn't know you were going to keep singing, and I thought you probably shouldn't quit your day job. But, anyways, but it's been a while, guys, where it's just not... Where it hasn't been just us. Normally we had a guest, which, by the way, I don't mind guests. Love having guests. But sometimes, what is selfish? Talk about ourselves.
It's nice just to be just a three of us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. We haven't talked shop in a long time. So, Tim, what's going on in your shop?
I'm really excited you asked that because, holy hell. Ha!
We're brothers here, right? Like, we're allowed to do that to each other. It's a thing. In Maker Camp, you may or may not, use a towel that's mine. You just won't know it.
It's a
and then we'll be forever brothers. It'll just be a thing.
No, my tent is going to be sealed off. And you're not getting in.
I possess a certain set of skills, my friend.
That's what they all said. Anyway.
That's what they all said. Who's
week,
they?
Wait, who's trying?
Yeah, the right people, not you. So, okay, this weekend, I was at Anime Detour, big old convention in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I finally got a buyer to buy 6 of my cribbage boards as a test. So, depending on how those sell, he's going to order probably a dozen more after that.
Nice,
if
dude.
it sells the way he thinks it does. So, the asking price is slightly below less than what I asked, but I got to kind of roll with the business on this one because, he can put it on his shelf for a certain amount. And I got to make, some sort of margin on this. So, I think my margin will be enough. And I think his asking price is actually pretty fair for the shop that it is and for the product that I'm making. So, I'm pretty excited about this because now it gives me a chance to verify the process that I created and how to make these things as quickly as possible. It's not just like a one and done fancy finalized piece. It's a production. So, the quality is still going to be there, but it's not going to take me 48 years just to make 6 of these, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'm even going through the process of making these 6. I'm going to learn things in that process too. So eventually I would like to set up a whole jig, if you will, where I can just throw 9 pre-cut boards on the CNC and hit start. And then there you go. In my mind, it's brilliant. We'll see.
Brilliant.
We'll see.
How long does it take you to make a batch, in general?
Well, I think at my quickest, it took me about 45 minutes to make the one. But I already know several areas where I can shave time off of this. And that's really what production is about. I have quite a few years in production facilities. I kind of know what to look for. My dad was an industrial engineer back in the day. He taught me a lot of time-saving skills, when you're doing production runs, too. So it's pretty cool process if you think about it. Once you actually break it down, wow, that only saves me 2 seconds. Well, when you add it up over time, those 2 seconds can mean a lot at the end of the day. So those are the type of things that I'm really looking for. And honestly, I never, ever thought I'd be taking this approach to my woodworking. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm a little bit jealous when it comes to that part. Being able to make a product like that, knowing what you're going to make, the process already. That's definitely a huge benefit.
Right. And like I said, the production side of it is just one facet of what I'm trying to do, right? So there's an income with that. I still want to make, the bigger ticket items, maybe nothing more than like a end table or coffee table. I don't think I'll do a dining room table again, at least not in the near future. but for the sake of what I'm trying to accomplish as like a side hustle, I think this is the best approach to get started with. I have goals of things and tools that I want, but trying to hoping for that one sale of an end table or something like that it just wasn't working out. So this, I think, is going to be a better stepping stone.
We just got a message from Victor telling us that AJ just became a new father. AJ from Crafted and NJ just had his baby today, and they're doing well. So, yeah.
Congratulations, AJ.
Arrived at 4:26 p.m.
Healthy baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to go ahead and give him a shout out.
So anyways, I mean, other than like the cribbage boards and stuff like that, I don't have a ton going on because like on the GNF side, that's my project.
Yeah.
On the house side, it's still designing and hopefully getting lumber soon for building some loft beds for all 3 kids. So
nice.
That'll be an adventure. Like wife says, make sure it doesn't look like a college dorm room when you're done. I'm like, well, I don't know. No promises. So. You're lofting beds. It's going to have a certain patina. I mean, come on. Like kids aren't going to be that size forever. So it's got to be adaptable.
Yeah. They have to, they grow like half a foot. It seems like a month. My kids, every time I look at them, they're just taller.
Airway.
I'm picturing it like, can my kid climb up to that bed when they're 18 years old and be comfortable and sleep just fine? And that's kind of like the main design consideration I'm taking going into this. So,
Hey, real quick,
adaptability.
Donald asked a question. I know it's CNC realm. Real quick, just to
I just looked them up too.
Touch on it. I looked it up already, and Donald, I'll touch on that here. When I talk about my CNC and stuff here in a little while, because I have a lot going on at the shop as well. But I'll let Tim finish up his shop and go to Josh, and then I'll probably be the most long-winded one today. But we will talk about that.
Honestly, that's really the long and short of what I've been doing, like mostly because I've been working so hard to focus more on the design. I should say the repeatability of the design of the cribbage boards. I haven't really tackled too much else other than like buying some drill bushings and like creating some fixtures for like, no thought operations as I make these.
Yeah.
That's about it.
How much?
I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the process.
How much does it cost you per unit with everything factored in?
As I scribbled out about a week ago, it's about like $13 per.
Okay.
That's like using maple, like the metal pegs, throw in a magnet. I mean, there's not much in this. So like I said, my margin is still pretty good. I was just hoping for it to be a little bit better, but still, I think if I sell these for 30 and my all in is like 12 to 13, that's not bad. As long as I can keep spitting these out at 45 or less. Yeah.
Nice, man.
That should do it.
Okay. Well, Neb, you've waited long enough. You've been biting at the bullet here to tell us about what's going on in your shop. You have a lot going on.
I'm not trying to die.
Okay. Don't go crazy now. It is your moment. I know you're a little nervous. I see you shaking a little bit. This is a safe place. So go ahead and share what you've been wanting to share.
You have the talking stick, sir.
Wait, hold on. Do I have a stick? Okay, I got a pen. There we go.
That's enough.
All right, so not only has it been a while since I've talked about the shop, I've been on and off, with work and this, that, and the other. Had a lot of stuff going on. I know before Workbench Con, I don't think it was on, and then I was on at Workbench Con. It talks a little bit about the CNC or my Elite CNC getting upgrade being delivered. And, well, it was delivered the day I showed up to Workbench Con. Go figure. And then my ATC followed after we returned from Workbench Con a couple weeks later. And I got to say, the most exciting part about it was these damn Skittles. Okay. For those of you that are from PW and CNC, you get Skittles. But if you get ATC, at least in my package, I got freeze-dried Skittles. They're interesting. Skittles are supposed to be chewed on, not crunched on. But they're weirdly addicting. But anyways, it's a good part of it, but that's not my favorite part. So over the course of, what was it, Friday evening and Saturday, I spent roughly 12 hours of the day, well, probably closer to 14 from Friday into Saturday, because I went to bed around 4:30 in the morning, woke up at 11, and then continued to work on my CNC and everything the next day up until roughly midnight, I think. So I was diligently working on this thing because, one, I had a project I had to do, and it was due by Monday, which I was completed. I typically do that like a dummy. I don't know about you guys, but like typically when I have like a really harsh deadline and I really need to get something else done, I'll typically put myself through hell to get that other thing done, especially when it's something that will increase productivity and make things a little more efficient.
To myself.
What's that?
I can't do that. I can't do that to myself.
It might just be the military lifestyle. I mean, I don't have sleep apnea, go figure. But I somehow can like go off of a few hours of sleep. It's weird. Josh does the same thing. I'm pretty sure dude walks in his sleep. No, but anyway, so I stayed up for a long period of time and got the things done. How it all started, and I actually started videotaping all this stuff. And I've got some videotape footage of me breaking down a table, building my table, and then I knocked my camera over and broke the little flippy screen on it. So
nice job.
Down goes camera, and that's why I don't do multimedia. Shucks. But I'll try to do some stuff. Like I'll probably put 2 small quick reels of me breaking down and building a table or something. I don't know. But there's gonna be a lot of ATC footage coming up because I'm doing a lot of cool things with that. But I did do my first carve of the P, which I've already posted that reel. And I'm gonna tell you something. It was more nerve-wracking watching that thing do a tool change because I'm like, please let the collet be in there. No matter how many times, or the tool holder be secure, because no matter how many times I actually went and tugged on it every time I did a manual tool change, like I would do the command and go do it. I'm like, okay, it's secure. But that one time, it's not secure. I'll be playing Beyblades on my CNC at freaking 17,000 RPMs. Okay? I'd rather not.
Nice reference.
If you can dodge a bit, you can dodge a bit.
If I could dodge, okay, listen.
That's the name of this episode.
What's that?
Beyblade Battle.
Okay. That's actually cool. But so surprisingly enough, okay, after some tests and some things, because even today I was talking to Daniel from PW and CNC about making a video on the safety features of their particular spindle.
You said safety.
Yeah, I did.
Said the safety word.
Yeah, that word.
Right up.
There's one
Works
thing.
well.
Yeah. There's one thing about it that I know to be true, and it's something you really can't prevent. Well, there's preventative measures, but if you don't set something up right, it can cause a false lock, and there's nothing the controller or anything can do to stop that from falling out. Okay, so just know when you set up an ATC, if you get one, make sure your Z goes down enough to grab the tool itself, because there's a chuck system in there that grabs it, and if it doesn't get a full hold of it, it won't fully lock. And that's, unfortunately, there's no company that can probably fix that for you. But getting on to the other stuff that's more safe about it. So if you have a Onefinity, and it just happens to be Onefinity because they're powered by Mazo, okay? If you have a Onefinity that has a Mazo, you have ATC capability. Perfect. If you have the black box version, you can only use the MTC, which is a button he includes with the ATC system. I went ahead today and I tested it thoroughly. I turned my spindle on and I tried to push the button. It did not eject the collet. So that's good because the light goes off as soon as it hits 1 RPM, light goes off. No worky.
It did what it was supposed to.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And then
he's really trying to play Beyblades. And go.
I was. Because listen, any person that uses this is going to have those questions. They're going to wonder, is this safe? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these things in the name of science.
What bit were you using?
My 1/4-inch Jenny bit.
Jenny, no.
I should have used the 90-degree groovy Jenny, but because that would have been really toppy, But no, so
go Jenny, go.
I think when I do a couple other tests, because I'm actually going to do like an air carve type deal, I'm actually going to take the bits out of it and I'm going to send it through an actual job air carving. And then if it works as function as it's supposed to, like, so for example, after I did the MTC check, I actually turned the air off. Let us just say you turn the air off, because I depressurize my system every time I'm done using it. Let's say you turn it off and you forget to do your checklist when powering up your CNC, turning the air on, turning the 150 on, turning the pneumatics enclosure on, all that stuff. If you forget to turn your air on, it will actually fault out the Mazzo, and the Mazzo will tell you, hey, bro, it no worky.
Turn your air on, dummy.
Exactly. So then what you can do, and
cool.
This is something that
I was wondering about that.
And this is what I'm going to test on that, is I'm going to run a job with no air, and it's going to have the tool change in there. I want to see if in the middle of a job, if it's going to go to the same spot and do exactly what it did when I did a manual tool change via the MDI screen. So I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out this weekend.
Or if, like, in transit, it senses zero air pressure, will it just stop and hover?
So what it does is it actually goes to your tool holding spot where that tool resides. And when it goes to drop it, if it will not unlock the clamp, which it should not, if there's no air, which it didn't do multiple times when I tested it, it'll give you the drawbar error, and it'll actually just stay in the tool holder spot.
Okay.
And so
cool. That's awesome.
So now what I want to test, though, is if when I turn the air back on and I resume the cycle, if it'll go up and back down like it did when I turned the air on, drop the tool, grab the new tool, and continue its job. That's the part I want to test, because I want to see if, let's say, somebody in their shop that's not well-versed in this stuff does exactly this, will they have to start over, or can they just press on? And that's stuff I'm going to figure out.
No, I was just saying, because, like, where in the G code is it?
It's an like, M6 command.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but like, where is it sensing the air, or is it just because
it's the Mazzo itself?
Seeing release?
So the Mazzo itself, it senses from the pneumatics enclosure that there is enough air pressure supplied to drop that tool, hit the dust port or dust, blower to make sure no dust gets in there. And if it doesn't sense the air or doesn't sense the drawbar to unlock, it sends that signal back to Mazzo and says, "Hey, there's an error." And
the Mazzo pauses the G code then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So
I can see how that works.
That's stuff I'm looking to set out to mess with this weekend. And that was just today. Okay, so that was today's adventures, because I was at home today, working from home, watching my kid, but in the shop by 2:30. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yesterday was not the case. I did not go in the shop yesterday. But
making up for last time.
So the table is built. I built a Craig table. I want to get the Rockler one, Josh, but they didn't have it at the time I wanted it, so I got my Craig one. It's fine. It ended up all working out. I'm happy that I can take this thing apart and take it with me, and it'll be modular. I won't have to worry about buying a bunch of wood and stuff. I can literally take the panels off, store it away, take it with me, and then put those panels back on because they're already built for the table. So, which is pretty cool. I might do something different with the top though next time, but I was in a time crunch, so I made a couple mistakes with building my tabletop. It's okay though; it works out. But that's that. Jobs wise, so things I've been doing. I've been building all sorts of random things. Like right now, I've got the chest panels. They're all glued up. So before the podcast today, it took me 2.5 hours to cut down enough pieces to make 2 foot by 18 inch tall panels, 2 3 foot by 18 inch panels, and then 2 oversized 2 foot by 3 foot with a little bit of overlap so I can flush trim it. Tops, top and bottom for this chest. I'm going to do the, rabbited rabbit or reverse rabbit, whatever the heck you call it, and not do finger joints this time because I noticed that rabbit joint is actually very strong. There is actually enough surface area there to keep it together. And then I'm going to, pretty much once that's done, the rest is kind of smooth sailing. It's cut the top off, make some trim for it. I'm going to use the trim to kind of cheat a little bit. So if you ever notice on some things, like they'll cut the top off, they'll put the hardware on, but then they'll trim it to where the seam is perfectly together, but under it's just off by a little bit, and it's kind of annoying, and I think you know what I'm talking about. It's like that annoying little gap. You're like, I really wish I could make you go away right now, but I can't. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take some oak. I'm going to rip it down in half, make it like 1/4 inch molding, essentially. I'm going to trim it and I'm going to stain oak darker, and I'm going to trim it. The only thing I'm not going to trim is the top. So I'll go all the way around the border or the perimeter of it, leave the top completely flat because it's a table. So I don't want to have a ledge on the top with it being a table, essentially. I'm trying to think if I'm going to put plexi on top of it or not. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll put plexi, and then actually, here's what I'm going to do. When I trim it, I'm going to make it taller, so that way I can put a piece of plexi in there, rabbited, and then I'm going to secure it that way. That's what we're doing because it's going to be a tabletop. I like this idea.
I'm glad we helped you.
I'm glad we could help.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna ask the chief if he wants that though, because maybe he wants raw wood, and that's fine. Just I'll have to put a lot of Halcyon on it. I'm actually using Total Boats Halcyon, which is marine grade varnish, so it should be waterproof or very, very water resistant. At the very least.
Water resistant, and that is okay.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's not going to be poolside, right? I mean,
yeah, I hope
it's not going to be outside in the rain.
But here's the thing, though. So I actually made the panels 3/4 inches thick. They will be a little bit thinner than that because I'll be throwing through the drum sander to smooth everything out. Like we're talking like not even 1/1000th of an inch, maybe.
Sure.
I'm cutting weight off of this thing. Because the last time I made a chest, that thing was thick.
Yeah.
With like 4 C's. And I'm going to tell you something. That thing was heavy. And I was like, do I want to put wheels on the bottom of this? I'm probably going to put feet on the bottom. I'm going to get some little round feet to put under. Because again, if it's going to be a table, I want it to look more like a table, but still functions like a chest where his stuff is inside of it. So that, it's why it's weird because a chest typically goes in like a man cave and then you can pull your stuff out. But he wants this as like a centerpiece in his living room and use it as a table. So, yeah.
But you can do feet out of anything.
Yeah. I'm not going to go buy some from a
round. No, I'm not. I'm saying you can make something as for a lot cheaper and still look somewhat elegant. Think like, just like little cut pieces of a dowel off around the edges, stick them on the bottom.
Either
classy.
Or I'll use my rotary CNC for something other than a doorstop. Maybe I'll glue some stock together and do something with that.
Yes.
You're the world's most expensive doorstop. Nice job.
Works.
But yeah, so that's the chest. I got a first job ever in my inbox for Facebook. It's Coast Guard. Never made a Coast Guard thing ever.
Wow.
And Coast Guard guy reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you make something like this?" Well, I'm going to make something better than what he sent me, just because I have an idea in my head. You know how the Coast Guard has their circular emblem, but they have the anchors. Well, however this person attached the anchor pieces, I can't tell if they nailed it or whatever, but he just showed me a picture of it. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm actually going to, when I cut this thing, I'm going to cut the reverse side. I'm going to cut a puzzle piece notch. So when I make the anchor pieces, I can make the piece and it slides in and locks into place when I glue it. So that way, that thing ain't ever coming off unless you like take a hammer to it. That's my goal. I've been doing a lot of stuff with like joinery type stuff, like really trying to find ways to fit things together without having to use a lot of nails and glue, screws.
Like how fancy joinery are we talking?
Oh, we're not talking like, listen, we're not talking like, Kumiko, freaking like Japanese. Like, no, we're not doing lattice work or anything. We're not doing none of that.
Anybody got time for that?
Not right now. I don't have time I have time to learn, but not enough time, if that makes sense. Like, if I want to do something super fancy, I have to test it. But for basic things, like a little like 3-leaf clover puzzle piece looking thing, that's easy to make. I'll just make a stem with a 3-leaf clover with a little bit of gap to when I put it on the shadow box, it'll fit perfectly into it on the backside. Because I've noticed that tolerance of 0.002 is by far the best for me, for my machine. Okay, that'll vary.
Might have changed.
Right, it might have changed. Actually, it very well could have changed. My machine could be more accurate.
0.002 on wood, though?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. I guess like I don't debate the accuracy of the machine. I debate the accuracy of the wood staying where it's supposed to, long enough for it to appreciate the .002.
Well, remember,
I mean?
when it's freshly cut, I mean, don't get me wrong, wood does move. We get that. We had a whole episode on it. But it typically doesn't move that fast. And the only time you'll notice that happens is when you rip a board and it does this. And you're like, that wasn't ready to cut like that. Awesome. But typically when my stuff's flat on the CNC and I cut it, it's good to go. I've only ever had one instance where I was like, mother fudger, I should not have done that yet.
Just
Too
once.
soon.
Lately, yeah, actually, just once. Other than holding my breath currently, because every time I use the CNC now, because I've done so much to it, I'm like, please don't crash.
It's nerve-wracking when you upgrade your machine. You're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's because it's like you're learning stuff all over again. You know, I had to have that conversation with somebody. I was like, dude, I don't know everything about this machine. I've been rocking the BuildBotics controller that's been super like simple. And that's simple because I've used it for so long and I've known how to do the settings and all the things. I've helped people set their stuff up. But now that I've got this thing's got so many capabilities. I don't even know it. I know like 2% of it. You know, there's
Right.
so much to it that I don't know. That I'm looking forward to learning, which is why I'm trying to break my machine.
It's when you can fully use all 4 spots for one job. Have you done that yet?
No. Actually, here's what's going to happen. So the 4 tools I have in there now are not the tools I necessarily wanted. I did it just for the simple fact I wanted to test the job. I was looking for 2 bits that I could not find, and wouldn't you believe it, I guess I brought them inside for some reason. They were in here. I don't know where they went. They're in here. I seen them. But I was looking for my damn skinny Jenny and my fat Jenny. It's the ball, little quarter-inch ball nose. I was like, where are they? Because that's what I'm going to use for like my 3D carves and stuff. So I want those in slots 3 and 4. I'll have my 1/4 inch in slot 1 and 90 degree in slot 2. Those are my most commonly used bits. Now I will eventually get maybe 1 or 2 more tool holders. The reason why I won't get more is because currently there are 2 boots that work decently well with the ATC when certain things are when certain parameters are met. If you have a Z independent like the version 9, you could use it for all of them because the spindle goes up and down through the rear mounted dust boot just fine. There is nothing to hit. The V10 on the other hand is Z dependent, which is what I have. I have to keep a certain spacing between my tool holders in order for it to go down, pick up like it's supposed to, and not hit anything, and then come back up and continue the job. That's where that collet not getting fully seated part comes into play. That is something I played around with actually when we were at Workbench Con. We saw it was touching, and I was like, okay, so now that's not good. Did it fully seat? So
didn't we also make something to help that along? Some extra pieces?
We did. We made some adapters and some things with the tube, if you will. We made it work with some things, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if that was ever brought to market or if that was even added, but I think that was just
might need to bring that up again.
Yeah, maybe. Might not be a bad idea. But yeah, so there's 2 booths currently that work decently well, depending on how you have it configured. The big thing that limits people with it right now is the fact that you can either line it up on the Y or the X. Don't line it up on the X because then you won't have the Y feed. You can't, do a tile job that way. You know what I'm talking about, Tim?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I follow you.
So typically, like now that I have this Craig table set up the way I do, I can pull it out easier and slide my piece through and do like 6-foot signs and stuff like that, which would be neat. Which I've actually done before. But yeah, so the shop's going well. Mostly upgrade talk. That's really what my shop's been. I've made a shadow box, sent it. Dude loved it. I posted a story of it. I've made odds and end things here. I do have a very good job, an annual job now for the base for the weapons folks here, and I've already been paid for it. So now I'm on the hook for 32 awards over this year.
Very nice.
But they're every quarter. So every quarter I'll make. No, sorry, that's wrong. That's wrong. 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 awards for those, and then 16 awards for those. So sorry, 28.
Take off your socks, Josh.
Yeah.
Just use your toes.
So making all those, and I've already got the first quarter made, or I got the blanks made and ready. So once they give me the names of who wins, I can do the laser, do the finish, and then good to go. But yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of that going on. I made one post on Facebook, and I blew up here in Minot. Like people were not within 5 minutes. I had 7 inbox messages. 3 of the
Nice.
7 actually acted on the jobs, which is cool. And then since then, I've had steady traffic, which is crazy because I didn't think it would happen that way. I typically don't get stuff from Facebook or IG. I got the Coast Guard guy from IG, actually. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. Outside of that, though, everything's been going great in the shop. Oh, I upgraded the dust collection. Another upgrade. If you didn't see that reel. 3 gates
Good
of
for you.
awesome.
Not too shabby, man.
I've been busy.
Upgrades all around.
Yeah, but they're not cheap, by the way. Real quick, for those listening to this thing, to our podcast, you hear us talk about upgrades, just know we're definitely not made of money. And I definitely had to make money to do these things. Had I not had if I had not had jobs for the money that I'm making to do these upgrades, I would not have bought them. So I will say I'm very fortunate to have the volume that I do so I can expand my efficiency in my shop.
Good for you, guys.
So do not, and the reason why I say this is do not feel like when you listen to this, you have to go buy stuff and make things better because we're talking about it.
No.
Okay, don't put yourself in financial ruin because you want to be like us. Like, no, don't do that. Just
let's do that for you.
Yeah.
Of the 3 of us, I have the simpler setup, but I also feel like I'm earning my wage just as these guys have done too. I mean, eventually I'm gonna get that laser. Eventually I'm gonna get my own freaking Cetus SolidWorks. Like these are all things on my list of things to get. But it doesn't happen overnight. You got to put in the time, and you got to go out and get the jobs.
Exactly.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, I started super slow here, and I actually kind of liked it. And then I was like, okay, I want to do stuff now. Bring me jobs.
I say, and you had the time and opportunity to pull off, and you did. You did it.
Yeah, sometimes though, like I had a guy reach out today. He goes, "Hey, can you make me a double-bladed battle axe by the 8th with these engravings?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Well, it's because something fell through," and then he tried to see if I could do it based on turnaround. I was like, "I really can't, man. Had I not had a chest and this other thing I was completing, I could have tried to do it, but no."
Right. I mean, I just lost a job recently because they wanted a whole lot of custom things for a lot less than what they probably budgeted for. So, like, all of these, table numbers for this wedding reception, I came in with like something really simple. They were going to basically paint it themselves. All they had to do is cut the stuff out and assemble it, and here you go. I quoted them at a certain price, and it was far, far beyond what they ever imagined. Like, well, can't you do it for $5 a piece? And like, you don't understand at all. Like, that's incredibly unfair to me. Like, considering I have to create a custom tool path for what they have, like 34 separate tables. 34 custom units. They were like roughly 8 by 9, right?
Oh, $5? No, hell no. $5? You kidding me?
And then they came back and was like, yeah, we're gonna go with these table cards. They're like 95 cents a piece. I'm like, you got me, man. I can't compete with $1 a piece, so enjoy your wedding. I'm sorry.
Ooh, sheesh.
Like, I don't know. I shame on me for not asking ahead of time what their budget was, but I mean, going into a wedding, you expect people to be willing to spend a certain amount. It's a wedding, right? I don't know. That's less for today, kids. Ask before you jump.
I'm looking at the chat right now. I must have missed when the chat was going off because I was on my tangent. Trying to figure out what Donald ordered.
No, so I looked that up, and basically it's a way to
he
hold
ordered the
down your
air weight.
pieces. Yeah, the air weight. It looks pretty cool. I might look into it because I'm getting to the point. In fact, I talked to Nick, not Nick, Nap about this the other day with the PVC pipe and doing the.
You know I'm going to
hold
fight
on.
you, right?
Forgive me, okay?
If you call me Nick one more time, I will. I know where you live now.
If that's all it takes to get you down here, Nick, I'll definitely go ahead and say it.
Now, first of all, I need you to get up here first because I've already been to your shop. Now you need to come see my shop.
Definitely, I'll be. I have my rounds I'm trying to make this year, so we'll see how that works. But going back to the airway thing, it looks like it's actually pretty cool. It's 24 by 24. It can hold nearly 8,000 pounds of holding power on a flip of a switch. This is me just looking at it. It is kind of pricey, depending on what you get. The whole kit is about $750. But I don't know. I've been using pin nails so long in my CNC adventures that I'm looking for something a little different. The latest pin nails I got, they're a little bit brittle, so they shear versus I don't know if I just bought a cheap brand or what the deal is. So it'd be nice to look at something. Yeah, he's mentioning how it look great on production runs and stuff like that. So maybe sometime in the future, I think I could probably use that in any machine versus just the only problem is that.
Well, but based on that picture, it's just a vacuum pump. Like you got the thing,
Yeah.
Then you got the pump that's plugged in. So yeah, legitimately, you could just be like, "Do I have the table size for this?" Sure as hell do. Done.
And there's different people out there that have made them. Matt from Wacky Works, he made his own vacuum table, and he seemed to like it for a little bit, and then he ran, I think, into a problem, and I don't think he'd be utilizing that going forward. But I mean, I've seen people carve aluminum out on their CNC and then create a table similar to that. People get really creative when it comes to their shops, and that's to say for the CNC as well. Some people like just buying the stuff. I know for this particular project, if I had the cash, I'd probably go ahead and just buy that just because it's something that, it looks like you could take off, put on as you need. And I do a lot more cutouts on my CNC than I do pretty much everything else. So I'll go ahead and jump in my shop real quick.
Oh, come on, rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're bad at that, but in some ways that's a podcast for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the shop, I built my damn boxes. The boxes are built. I've been letting them dry.
Yeah, how'd that go, Josh? Did the toolpath work great for you? I mean, I taught you how to do it, and
Okay, so to be fair, when I reached out to Nick here.
I'm sending you a box of glitter, so when you open it, it explodes. It'll say, "Welcome to your baptism of stupid." Hate you.
Oh, I like that. You know what? Look, I got something I got to mail you anyway.
Anyways,
full of craft herpes.
Yeah, war has begun. Anyway, long story short, I've been sitting on these boxes for a while trying to make them. Yes, I can go ahead and do the traditional way, just button and then using. What are you drinking? And then go and using the trim to go ahead and hide that. But I wanted something a little bit more sturdy, just because kids and people are going to be sitting on these, and I wanted to make sure that it's going to be fairly, use some joinery. So I went ahead and used some gadgets that are on Fetrick, and with the help of Nap double checking my work, I got carbon and got that knocked out. I only had to buy 2 more pieces of plywood, which was nice. I got to use what I already had in the house. Got those painted. They're sitting in there because it's been so humid here that the paint is still tacky. I don't know how to explain it. It's hard and it's dry, but if I put it down on the table, some of it would peel off or some of it would stick. So I'm letting that kind of cure enough so I can give it to the client and not have that happen to their carpet or whatever surface they put it on. So that's still sitting there, but done. I completed the mallet finally. That's going to OSI member in Arizona.
Not today, OSI.
The client was gracious enough to send me 3 coins, so I got to keep one. Add that to my collection. I have a individual that's ex-Navy SEAL / police now, and he lost his plaque that had his information on there. So we're going to work together and go ahead and recreate that for him. It's probably going to be like a 3D carve or something similar, maybe acrylic. Working on trying to get that complete. I really like to get that job just because, well, it would be badass. It'd be pretty cool. I have a round shadow box, which I've done a round shadow box before, but it was a badge, and this is a little different for the Navy, so that's a different branch I have not worked with before. It's a retiree that's, I don't know, the first shadow box I sold to an Air Force member, it's her father. So they're trying to commemorate his service, and they reached out to me, and I'm going to make that for him. I'm working on if I haven't mentioned it before, I have a grandfather clock that was a family gift to newlyweds. Long story short, the bride broke it when she was a child, and the mother and father said, when you get married, we're giving this to you. They always thought it was a joke until it ended up in their possession. So they wanted to get it fixed, but it's pretty expensive to get something like that fixed. So we worked through a whole bunch of ideas and came out with, we're going to make a desktop clock, and we're going to take the bottom and make it into like a small little decor box. And I say not small, I would say like larger size decor box. And right now the hardest part is stripping all the stain from this thing. I've gone through 2 rounds, and I don't like stripping paint and stain from wood just because it's a pain. But sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone once in a while to remind yourself why you don't do that. So hopefully I won't be doing that anytime soon. But once these are done, I have to basically clean it up. The box is pretty simple to finish. And then for the clock face, I actually have to pour some epoxy and carve that out. And that's going to be utilizing some of the clock pieces within the epoxy as well. So that's going to be a fun little project to complete.
So if you're doing epoxy on that clock part, you pretty much have to do things in a very specific order, right? So you're containing the clock pieces?
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to make myself a mold, and it's going to be square, and I'm going to go ahead and pour down a base layer of epoxy, let that dry, and then I will glue down the actual clock pieces and pour a little bit more epoxy, let those kind of harden in place, and then I'll go ahead and finish it off. It's going to be pretty decorative. I had to clean the pieces so there's no oils in there. I'm trying to make sure I don't mess this up because there's going to be no way for me to go back once I do. I haven't started it for that reason because, yeah, I didn't want a lot of dust flying around when I'm doing it. So I've kind of been putting it off so I can come to a moment where I can work on that versus, having a bunch of dust particles go in there, ruin the clarity and stuff like that. I might battle that by making it a little bit white versus clear. That way I can kind of hide some of those defects. Not like pure white, but like opaque.
What about just frosting it or tinting it or
something. I might come up with because in the end it's going to be like a half moon clock. It's about 2 feet or so. We didn't talk about height because of whatever the 2 feet in the clock.
Was that the one we tore apart?
It is. Long story short, though, going back to what's going on in the shop, I'm back on track. I'm getting things done. Don't know what it was. I just had a roadblock when it came to those boxes. But since that's done, it's a clear way forward. I know what to do. I think I had some rest this last week too, which helped a lot. I'm kind of going along the same thing Nap is, as I'm trying to utilize more joinery to just alleviate some of the extra stuff, that being rabbits, that being dados. I did complete a stove topper, and I went ahead and used the dado to do the side panels, and did some natural cutouts for the handles versus actually hardware. And I got to do it for a good friend of mine. His house has turned into a weekend tavern between him and his father-in-law. They're into like sampling beers now, and like
Nice.
so it's they had Tedder's Tavern on there, and then their dog recently passed away, and that was a big hit for their family. So I got to take their paw print and go ahead vectorize it and go ahead and engrave that on there as well. And
That's cool.
it was very personalized, and I was able to do that for him. So, and
I like that extra personal touch. That's great.
what was great about it is I got to use cherry and walnut for it. And you normally people want it cheap. They want a stove topper that's fairly cheap. They want some of the details, but they want the cheapest wood possible because usually they want it stained or they want it painted, what have you. But his dog was dark brown and light brown, like a tan, and those two woods matched the color of his dog that passed away. And being able to utilize that, it brought everything together. And I really appreciate using quality wood, just because I don't like using pine. I don't like using, poplar if I don't have to. Out of the two, I use poplar, but like those boxes, I used 1/2-inch plywood, and I used poplar and for the trim, and it gives it a little bit of heft and weight and stuff like that too. But so, I got to knock these things out. It was really nice to get in the shop, kind of get everything working. I'm so hesitant for the CNC because I'm kind of where Nap is right now, where it's like, everything's been working, but when, I just need it to continue in that direction, I guess.
Like, are you waiting for the other shoe to drop here? Is that kind of here?
Well, yeah, because I went from one program and kind of like one controller type to a different one, and like I've been using that for so long. I realized that, just like Nap was explaining, I was so used to just doing it, like going in the shop and knocking something out. And now that I'm using a different program and different, G-code sender and like all that, I know how it works. I have learned that and I'm comfortable with it, but I'm still not as proficient. Like, you can give me a job with my other stuff and I can get it going with the next 5-10 minutes. Now it takes me a little bit longer. It's still, some of that learning curve, using some of the gadgets that are in Aspire and stuff like that, which are pretty cool. I really have to explore that more. Simple boxes made easy, carved in a sheet of plywood, and like utilized every little piece I could out of it, which was pretty cool. And like put together, it was all dog bone. So I just threw it together and it was ready to go. A lot going on in the shop. Trying to knock all that stuff out. I have some things I'm testing myself for different processes, much like you, Tim. I am trying to come up with a product that kind of can sell itself, where I can make a whole lot and just put them on like Etsy or webpage and just kind of get those out. But we'll see how that all pans out later on in the year. 3D printers haven't been touched in a while. I might get those rolling again. We'll see how everything, goes. But it's nice being back in the swing of things. I will say that. The shop is not a total disaster. It's kind of clean and like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are going in there. So
back to consistency. I like it.
No, yeah, weight off the shoulders, and then on top of that, getting things knocked out. So, I like the feeling. So we'll see how everything progresses. I do have a couple of new jobs I'm working on. We'll talk about those next time if I get those or if we have time. But that's about what's going on in my shop.
Yeah, my thing is just like I want to be able to report something next week on the production of 6 units. So like I'm hoping that my report out's going to be positive, at least 80% positive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a learning curve, man. You're going to have your moments of lessons learned and your moments of success.
Right.
We all expect that. So.
Right. My assumption is just that if I jig everything is just going to go perfect and it's going to go quick. So therein lies my life lessons that will probably be forthcoming. So we'll see.
I'm sure everything will go well. I mean, you're seasoned at all that. I mean, there might be some small lessons, but I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm hopeful, but I also want this to go forward a lot quicker because, like the shop, the game store that I'm selling them through, there's a possibility where I could be selling other stuff too. So again, like, let's hope for the best.
No, we sure do, man. I did want to hit on a couple more things that I forgot to is Halcyon. So if you ever wonder about how good Halcyon is, I made a sign almost 3 years ago, 3.5, and it's been in upstate New York, out in the weather in every season imaginable, and it has not changed in color. The varnish has not, been stripped or anything. It looks like it's brand new right off the CNC and painted the day I did it. Every year my dad sends me a pic and I get to see it and it looks brand new. So that just speaks volumes on how good Halcyon is in keeping your stuff secure. It's literally in the weather consistently. And then the second thing is Matt from Wacky Works was very generous and gave me a dust box. We're still working on the name. I wanted to call it Matt's Box, but he was kind of put off by that a little.
Just go with it.
So with that, basically what it is, it replaces your bag underneath your dust collection and your filter. And this way you can go in and use your shop vac to go ahead and empty it versus replacing the bag, having it spill out all over the place. And it's honestly like, it works really well. I went and put a, what's it called? Not a valve. I'm thinking a shut off valve, but, help me out here, Nap. Yeah, you were there too. God damn it! What's it called?
Like a disconnect, quick connect. I don't know.
No, it wasn't a quick disconnect. It's the valve. It's the shut off valve. I'm thinking aircraft. It can't go woodworking right now. Anywho,
I'm lost.
Yeah, I'm sure you look good.
Always.
This is payback.
I'm harnessing my inner creepy shop guy. That I've been seeing a lot of reels about the creepy shop guy. It's pretty funny.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so I did basically a shut-off valve in there so I can go ahead and close it when it's not being empty and open it real quick and use shop vac to clean it out. It's a great concept. I'm absolutely loving it. It takes up less space than the bag did, which means I have to empty it. Just Blastgate. Yeah. Who did that?
Stan.
Oh, Stan. Man, I love you, dude.
Stan the man.
Stan the freaking man.
I don't know why. I just could not, like, I'm thinking like pneumatics and everything else, but just not shop stuff.
He was late to the podcast and, just being a freaking goober and,
I wanted to do a shout out to him because it's legit a great product. And if you'd like to see one yourself, I'll be doing a post about it. And if you want one yourself, you're going to have to reach out to him. He's the one forging those. So,
no, but seriously, thank you, Stan. Appreciate that.
Yes. Lastly, I do want to hit on something that's coming up for the podcast. It's pretty big. On the 16th of April at 8 Central Time, we'll be doing a live episode with a giveaway in tow.
8 Central or 7 Central?
8 Central, normal time.
8 Central. All right.
And
that is a change, folks. Normally our giveaways start at 7 Central.
Hey, Stan, this is from 2023. Thank you very much. So you can...
God.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Anyway, moving on. So the donations that we've been getting from the different makers out there will be what we give away that day. Because we want to reach out and be more part of the community, we felt it was more appropriate for something of that nature. We give out what people make within the community that listen to the podcast. And we're going to help advertise them, get their name out there. And I think for that rest of the month, anyone that donates, we're going to go ahead and make sure we put them on a special thank you at the end of the episode. Just because, like,
I'm donating some. Are you guys? You guys making something?
Like probably, well, I don't want to do a mallet because I know someone that's done a whole lot of mallets. I'll think of something.
I don't really know what people would want, but I could probably donate a sign of their choosing. Meaning, if they have a maker, like if they have a logo or something, I can recreate it on a wood and acrylic or something.
That's a cool idea.
I do the same thing. So that way, people that have a logo, they can get their actual, you know what I'm saying? There'd be 2 of those.
It'd be a shop
So-
sign.
Shop
Like I
sign.
said, I volunteered like a round cribbage board, but I could certainly put their logo in the middle of it. That's pretty.
That'd be
good
cool.
idea.
So Nap and I will donate a shop sign of your choice. And we'll come up with sizes and whatnot. I think that's fair, and then we can kind of do like a build off. But we're looking forward to everyone being there on the 16th to celebrate the 200th episode. We're hoping to have as many people as we can. We have a lot of prizes. We have mallets. We have everything from a critters board to shop signs. We have quite a few people entering to make something for it, which we're highly appreciative to. We're going to go ahead and name that list off probably here soon. That way you guys can kind of get a feel of what's going up. There is a sign up Genius. We have the link. It is in our link tree that you can go ahead and click on and then utilize. And
I
I'll
can
make
absolutely put some more stuff in IG as well.
Yep, and we'll be advertising on IG to ensure that everyone is able to sign up if they want to. Yeah, let's just make sure it's on here, and it is. Yes.
Yeah, Colt.
So,
or I'll talk to you guys after. About that.
but and then we have special guests coming on later this month. I'll go ahead and say thank you for everyone listening, and we hope they catch you in the shop making some sawdust. And then, Nap, what do you got to say?
You know what? I'm just keep it simple. Keep helping the community out. People reach out to you. Don't just throw them aside. If you don't know the answer, maybe you know someone that does. And don't try to be like someone else. Just be yourself. Because we all make it in our own way, one way or another. So that's all I got.
Words
Yep.
to live by.
And like you said, don't be afraid to keep on learning. Stay humble. If you already know everything, you won't learn anything.
Okay, bye. Have a nice time. See you later.
Sawdust
See you next time.
Nation
Out!